Court of the Rings recap September 22nd. Court started off the stream by looking at some things that happened this week. Obviously, Bull Roar was live this week, all the way from Monday to Friday, so a pretty long Bull Roar this week. We had the second preview of the Mariner, and Court kind of went through the Bull Roar notes. I'm not gonna spend too much time on those notes because I already did my beta report, and if people haven't seen it, it's up on my channel, going through all the new changes, like the champion and hunter damage buff, the small damage nerf to guard, all the Mariner changes, and there's also some info about the Forester event, and it's getting ready to come back. The Forester event will be on a set timer rotation, where it will be a 6-minute registration period, then a 15-minute cooldown. So every 21 minutes, a new registration will start. And during that 6-minute registration window is when you can get the quests to join the event. Also good news, the crafting tools that will come from the crafting events, such as the Forester crafting tool that we get from the Boom Forester event, will be bind to account. Good news for a lot of people, so you don't have to bind it to character. Those crafting tools will be bound to account. And speaking of update 37.2, Court said it should release in the near future, so probably within like 1 to 3 weeks, we should see update 37.2 go live into the game. Court also mentioned the pre-purchase for the Corsairs of Umbar expansion, and they're not ready to release the information, but there should be some info within the next few weeks. Court also talked about the crafting news. I've also made a video about the update 38 crafting news, but to hit the most important points of the crafting news, the tier restrictions from the crafting will be gone. Initially, it's just for the Umbari tier, which will be the newest crafting tier, so anyone can start directly on Umbari tier. But eventually they are planning on removing the restrictions from previous tiers as well. Vocations will be a thing of the past, and you can now freely select your professions. You can kind of pick whatever you want. You can be like a weaponsmith, woodworker, forester, whichever that you want. You will get to pick 3 professions and possibly a 4th profession added, which can be unlocked through mithril coins. There's also some quality of life to gathering and tracking. If you pick several professions that have different tracking skills, they will all fuse together and become track resources, meaning that you can track wood and ore and scholar nodes at the same time, for example. There's also a quality of life improvement to gathering. Your crafting tier does not matter anymore with this update. You can simply, if you're a level 1 character, you can go to Mordor and mine ore, meaning that your level or your crafting experience doesn't matter for harvesting materials in the landscape. You can pretty much go anywhere to harvest that landscape, regardless of your experience and level. And a quick note on the Umbari tier. Umbari will have its own crafting guild, and this crafting guild will be separate from the traditional ones. Court also mentioned Umbar music, and he said yes, there will be a preview of Umbar music on Court of the Rings at some point. So at one of the shows before the expansion, we will probably get to listen to some Umbar music on the Court of the Rings streams. He also mentioned the Q&A with Severlin and when will that happen. As usual, they're just saying the near future, real soon, but they're very busy obviously with the expansion coming up. So at some point we should see Severlin on the stream in the next few weeks. When it comes to LOTRO music, the update 35 soundtrack is live on YouTube on LOTRO's official YouTube channel. If you like the LOTRO music, the update 35 soundtrack is live on the channel, and soon to be following is update 36 and update 37 soundtracks as well. Court also mentioned the Stroll with scenario, which will happen every Wednesday. The first one was last Wednesday, 2 PM Eastern, where scenario looked at the very first zone out of the 4 that we're getting for the expansion, and over the next 3 weeks he will keep looking at the next 3 zones. So if you're interested to get a sneak peek of the landscape of the expansion, do tune in to the Stroll with scenario every Wednesday 2 PM Eastern time for the next 3 weeks. When it comes to events coming up, the Baggins birthday event is currently ongoing and will last through September 25th, ending on September 26th, 3 AM Eastern Time. There's also still the free daily gold Hobbit gifts for VIPs still going on and will last through October 10th. And the final thing really of importance that was mentioned on the stream was Cord talking about the Extra Life. And we know that every year SSG has an Extra Life event happening for charity, and if you donate to the charity you get some items for your characters in your game. And he talked about some of the new items. He said that there's a few new items and returning items. He mentioned the spotted corgi pet as an item you should be able to get participating in the Extra Life event. And he also mentioned a cloak of the Misty Knight, although I'm not sure if this is the cloak he's referring to, but it was the only one I could find when I googled for the cloak. But a few new items and returning items for this year's Extra Life event. And that's the end of my recap. Thank you for watching.
Hey! Hey you! Yeah, you. What do you want? You enjoy my content and you want to support me? Fine, I'll show you how you can do it. I would really appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. You can also support me through my Ko-fi homepage. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse is a Discord server created for the community of the players of Lord of the Rings Online. The server is getting close to 7,000 members, and in this server you'll find tons of helpful information. There's monthly giveaways, easy access to patch notes, you can keep up with my YouTube videos, my streams. If you're a streamer, you can ask for the streamer role and you can announce your streams in the other stream channel. There are discussion channels for pretty much everything, every class, monster players. But the best thing about this server is probably the Gearing Resources tab, where you can find anything from trait lines for every class, every build. There are stat goals, where you can find out what stats you should aim for on your characters. Really helpful information about drop rates from instances, as well as screenshot from all the new loot that appears in the game. If you enjoy LOTRO, you should definitely consider joining this server, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle-earth. If you were part of the Ghyniverse already, you might have noticed that another tab appeared at the top, the LFF server. This server is a brand new server that I created, the LFF Ghyniverse. In this server, you can select which servers you want to keep up with, and once you select your server, say you select Arkenstone, you will see the LFF, the kinship advertisement, looking for kinship and trade channels, and there's also voice channels if people want to use those. The LFF channel is basically a looking for fellowship channel where people can post if they need players for the runs, and this way people don't have to be logged into the game to see the chat, they can just instead get a notification on their Discord. There's also a kinship advertisement page where kins can post their kinship advertisement and have people join their kins. And you can also post in the looking for kinship chat if you're looking for a kinship, but make sure to take a look in the kinship advertisement first and look through all the kin to find a suitable kin for you. There's also a trade channel if people want to buy or sell stuff that you can use. Hopefully you'll consider joining this server to bring the community even more together, not just in the game, but also outside of the game.